Greetings, divine mirrors. Sacred, awakening, remembering, gods and goddesses, one and all. Thank you for showing up. Welcome to episode 13, lucky 13, of Voices of the Global Awakening, Tuesdays with Tess from 5 to 7 p.m. Today's episode is self-love and world peace. And I look forward to delving into those two concepts with you and sharing my perspective on how they are deeply interrelated, and looking forward to hearing your perspectives on this as well. This broadcast, I brought my beautiful blue and gold fabric, thinking that I would be able to create my signature background. And I am broadcasting to you live from Cabo San Lucas, where I just arrived a couple of hours ago and didn't get into my room until 2 hours ago, only to discover that there was a limit in the number of outlets that I could use, and I plugged my phone into one and it started going crazy because there was moisture in the outlet. So I had to scramble and reconfigure and let go of maintaining a consistent background. I wish I could show you some of the beauty that I am getting to experience here. And again, it was a matter of connection, because I need to be able to keep my battery juice going for the full 2 hours. So this is what it is, and it's all good because it's all live and present. You're amazing, Juliana. Thank you very much. It's kind of interesting because it sort of goes with the theme of where does peace begin, and where is the only place that I have any control over it, and it has to do with being inside of me. So it's been an interesting simulation and an interesting exercise for me to get to maintain my peace and calm as I was dealing with all these unexpected circumstances. So anyway, so this is episode 13, and we've been consistent for every week, and I feel really good about that. I'm really proud of the response and the authenticity and the transparency, and I basically, pray each and every time that I get out of my own way. And when I say that, I mean that my egoic attachment to projecting some sort of polish or perfection, and that being a lesson in terms of our ability to show up and be who we are, and not be apologizing for ourselves, but simply allow ourselves to be human in the human experience, even though part of my mission here is to awaken us to the truth of our actual inherent divinity. So I'm just going to close my eyes for a moment and center myself and breathe, and invite you to join me if you feel it, and to just stop the momentum of the mania. I've been going since I think about 5:20 this morning is when my alarm goes off. So anyway, we're just going to stop. And connect to the nourishing, nurturing peace that is our true home, that is always here for us. I feel to start with a song for you. Step inside your mind, seek and ye shall find all the treasures you've been dreaming of. Gently turn to me, I will set you free. Melt your troubles in the warmth of love. Everything you've ever longed for, you already own. I am so much nearer than your nearest telephone. Just be still and you will hear me. You are not alone. I am you, you are me, we are one. Ask and you'll receive, if you but believe. Life is so much simpler than you know. It's such a rich surprise when we realize faith's the magic fuel that makes things go. Everything you've ever longed for, you already own. I am so much nearer than your nearest telephone. Just be still and you will hear me. You are not alone. I am you, you are me, we are one. I am you, you are me, we are one. We are the one we've been waiting for. We're the Messiah banging at your door. Look in the mirror, see who's watching you. You are the deity you're praying to. I am you, you are me, we are one. I am you, you are me, we are one. I am you, you are me, we are one. I am you, you are me, we are faith, we are light, we are peace, we are life, we are mind, we are real, we are truth, we are love, we are God, we are now, we are one. Join me in 3 ohms. Thank you. I feel better. I hope you do too. So, Stewie, as long as you're here, I'm going to ask you to be my timekeeper, because the way I'm set up right now, I don't actually see the clock, and so I want to be sure to give a full 2 hours and not run over. So if you will remain for that time, or if you're going to leave, let me know and I'll figure something else out. But as long as you're here. I appreciate that. In the meantime, I see that my special, thank you. I see that my special surprise guest is here. So I would like to bring her on and introduce her without further ado. Her name is Juliana Roby, and among other things, she is the founder of the Self-Love Club, which is half of our topic today, self-love and world peace. And I couldn't imagine a better person to bring on to kick off this conversation with. And this is an interactive program, so if you're watching and you want to join in at some point, unfortunately I can only bring you on one at a time on this platform, but please let me know and I would love to chat with you as well. In the meantime, let's bring on Juliana. Yay, we're doing it. It's working, it's working, it's working. Almost. There she is. We did it.
I know, finally.
We did it. It's a major accomplishment. I'm very proud of us.
You know, you're I can only hear every other word.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Thank you for telling me.
just suddenly when we're on together, but it is a major accomplishment for me here.
Well, you look marvelous.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Yay. So this topic came to me because, certainly since October 7th, the shock of the crisis in the Middle East has hit me hard. And, they say a lot of things. They say, think globally, act locally. And, Gandhi said, be the peace that you want to see in the world. And when we see these things in the world, it's like such a helpless feeling because it seems as though there's nothing that we can do about it. And I always like to think in terms of the micro and the macro. And so it seemed to me that, in my faith and that I grew up with in Judaism, they say peace in the home, peace in the community, peace in the world. And I like to add to it, peace begins in me. And where does peace begin? In the body of the Mother of the Earth. It's in the Middle East. So we have Mother Earth, Middle East, and me, M-E. They're all M-E. And so it's like, what do I have control over? I have control over my own frequency and raising my vibration. And in order to establish inner peace, it seems like we have to address whatever may be in the way of our finding that within ourselves so that we can then be a source of it and emanate it out. And so self-love and inner peace seem to me to go hand in hand because we have to love ourselves a lot in order to be willing to take the time to feel like we deserve to take the time to establish that within ourselves. So I know that you have been contemplating this topic for a long time. And I see you doing a beautiful job of cultivating this within yourself and creating a beautiful life around you. So I am happy to hear your wisdom.
Thank you
Mm-hmm.
so much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could have done it without you.
The inner peace or coming online, or what are you talking about?
Both. Yeah, both. Yeah, this is my first time online ever live. So,
Congratulations. We're breaking your cherry. Your virtual cherry.
I'm biting my tongue. Okay. So, I'm thinking, my first thought is how do you wake up in the morning? You know, are you happy? Are you happy to face the day? Are you living the way that you want? Even partly. And what makes you happy? And and how do we get out of the patterns in our lives that sabotage us? How do we
Mm-hmm.
take a step each day towards something beautiful that's alive in us? And I work with people all day long. They come in, and so many people are looking for the meaning of life, and they're unhappy, and they're unhappy in their lives, themselves, and their relationships. So I share a couple things because I have to start somewhere. Um, Simple things. Uh, uh, well, first, telling our truth, speaking our truth. What's in our hearts? What do we really want? And why are we so freaking afraid to ask for it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it seems like some of us are so disconnected from it because we've been trained to people please and put other people's needs and wishes and desires ahead of our own, that we're disconnected from it. We don't even know what that truth is, and that's like a horrifying thing to face, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
when we finally get to that place where like you ask that question, you know, what's your truth, what do you want? And then it's like being a deer caught in headlights, and it's like, oh, I don't know what I want. And
Yeah.
then this kind
A
of
lot of people
panic.
a lot of people don't know. And when they
Hmm.
sit in front of me and I ask them that, they're surprised that I just sit there and just hold and just look in their eyes and see their soul.
Hmm.
So many times we don't look at people like that. We don't stop and just look, like I'm looking at you right now, you know? And so when we when we see people looking at us like that, then we can stop and possibly be in awe. Like, wow, let's together what we want. You and
Hmm.
so I'll just sit there and I'll just say, all right, sit at the end of your chair and just I want you to breathe from your first chakra, from pelvis. Just take a really deep breath, and maybe we can do that here together. Take a deep, deep breath
Sure.
with a big audible, with a big exhale. Ah,
Ah.
yeah, and just fill the room with who you are. And how many times are people are afraid to even do that? They're afraid to be themselves. They're afraid to take up space and be them. So I always say it starts there. It starts
Hmm.
with your
Hmm.
breath. It starts with your presence. It starts with being in the moment. And it was at the end of the pandemic, I thought, what do we have? And besides our health, I thought all we really have is connection. Connection to nature, to the divine, to each other, and to ourselves. So how are we going to be true? What do we really want? And I work with a lot of people who are in relationship, and I would say that the majority of them don't ask for what they want, and they're in really unhappy relationships. And so how can we vibe in the world energetically together if so many people are afraid to ask for what they want? They wake up in the morning, they're unhappy, they don't want to be with their partners, they don't want to do the work that they do. How are we vibing out, and how do we behave with each other if we're unhappy and if we're afraid?
Hmm.
You know?
Hmm. 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 So I feel like getting underneath that is is unworthiness. On a certain level, people feel unworthy of what they want, And so they settle for less than that and try to justify it and rationalize it and make it work, and it's like, and I think the unworthiness comes from a place of feeling guilty. So, like, for example, I realize, and these are the kind of things that are like really raw to share because I honored my parents and I had the deepest empathy and compassion for what they went through. At the same time, as a little girl who wanted, like, quote unquote, normal, happy, youthful, playful American parents and didn't have that, I I felt cursed. I felt unlucky. I felt, what did I do to deserve this? And because they were so sweet and fragile and really dignified people, I felt guilty for feeling those things. And I couldn't speak them. I couldn't speak them. So consequently, I became ashamed of myself and felt like I'm not a good person. I'm not how could I be a good person and feel some kind of shame or contempt or disdain for the people that brought me into the world, the people that are feeding me and raising me and instilling values in me. So it's taken a lot of contemplation, and it's taken a lot of deep forgiveness for me to create a space inside myself that is like, you are an innocent. You didn't have any objectivity, and so all you could do is like suffer and feel bad about it. But then not understanding that energy was bringing back to me more of the same, you know. But because I understand it now, I can have so much more compassion for other people who carry their own version of that. And that to me seems like a global epidemic. It's not like just me, you know what I mean? On some, one story or another, there's some version of that.
Yeah, not being worthy,
Yeah,
not
like
feeling.
a deep seated guilt that, I must be a really horrible person when really we're all innocent, you know. And if we all found our way to our own inherent happiness and gratitude for the miracle of getting to be these characters in this divine play, then then we wouldn't need to act out against anybody else. See, that's why to me there's this relationship between self-love and world peace, because we're taking our unhappiness out on somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I was getting to. Yeah,
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm,
agree.
mm-hmm.
There's two sides to this. You, you've suffered a lot with those feelings, and you've written amazing songs because of it.
Mm-hmm.
You've made such a difference with your words for people and how you show up. So there's two sides to it, right?
Yeah,
I feel. Go
it's
ahead.
like it's like the pressure of the coal to become the diamond. It's like, I mean, I love the expression that we could either grow bitter or better. That's
Yeah,
basically our choice. We can be a victim and we can just resent everyone and everything and live out our whole lives that way and likely create all kinds of illnesses because we're basically attacking ourselves, with that poison. Or we can figure it out. We can find a way to go, okay, I'm not the only one. If I look around, I see that most everybody has challenging stories. So so what is the opportunity here? It's like each of us are on our own hero's journey. And it's like for us to overcome adversity in order to emerge as they say like happiness is the best revenge, right? In order to emerge as genuinely happy, not faking it, but actually genuinely happy, fulfilled, grateful person, you know. That to me is the challenge and the opportunity that we have if we're conscious, if we are wanting to take responsibility for shifting our experience.
Sometimes it's so painful not to.
Not to shift, you're saying?
Do you know what I mean? Like we
Say
have
more.
to do it. We have to work on ourselves because for me, sometimes it gets too painful to not be as good as I think I should be. Right? To be say I'm having a depressed day and I'm going to watch Netflix all day when what I really want to do is put workshops on, but I sabotage myself from putting them on, and
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, it's more
That's more research.
yeah, it's more painful to sit there and watch Netflix than it is to get myself going. Does that make sense?
Right. Of course.
And
Absolutely.
and lately it feels like getting like uh, I have to do it or I'm going to explode. I have to be myself or
Mm-hmm.
what's the
Yeah. Yeah. Or get out of my own way. I have to get out of my own way. Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
And I
Mm-hmm.
don't like for me it's not about being worthy. It's about being judged.
Oh,
Right?
speak to that. Say. Okay. Who's the judge in your mind? Is it a parent or who is it? Who do you worry
Yeah,
about?
who is it? That's the point, right? They're really it's ourselves at this point, right?
You've internalized a voice.
Yes.
You've
The gremlin
internalized
kind of
a.
voice right here, and we can talk to it and we want. We can say, here, this gremlin, if you will, or we can do this over here. But
Mhm.
what about this? We get so into patterns, and we know this, although it doesn't feel good. It's something we're comfortable in, so we don't do this over here. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it comes back to the unworthiness piece, which creates a kind of insecurity, like who am I to, and I'm not good enough to, and I don't have the looks that this one has, and I don't have the credentials that this one has, and I don't have the training or the life experience, and so like I'm a fake, I'm a fraud, I'm a charlatan, and I'm trying to posture as somebody who knows something, right? And I'm going to be exposed, and I have this fear of public humiliation, right? So all of those become the obstacles. All of those become the excuses, the reasons, which to us seem legitimate, right?
Right. We should just merge the two of us, you and I, together as one.
I have to grow a few inches, I think.
I've become a singer. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of like it's the my favorite definition of courage, which is not to be fearless, but to feel the fear and do it anyway, you know.
Anyway,
And that's the
yeah.
piece that I like about, to me, this day and age is different than 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 40 years ago when appearing polished and posturing was the norm. It was the norm. Nobody showed up raw. nobody showed up transparent and vulnerable and owning their insecurities and owning their wounds. And it's like, to me, leaders that don't share that stuff are dangerous because they feel duplicitous. They're not really sharing their authentic selves. They're sharing a persona, and it's kind of
Okay.
like it's
So,
kind of like the Wizard of Oz, like pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. You know what I mean? As opposed to, here, I'm in this human journey right alongside with you. And I think the only way that we're going to heal is if we talk about this stuff and we don't hide it.
yeah, and how many people in relationships do that?
And that's why, I mean, there were so many divorces during the pandemic, because people like are busy in their own careers, and they don't see each other, and now all of a sudden everybody's at home and now they're dealing with one
Yeah,
another and are
yeah.
like, holy crap, I don't really have anything to say to this person, or I don't really like this person, or whatever it is. And I've been like socializing in the world and pretending like everything is okay, like everybody else. And meanwhile, their like souls are dying inside.
Yeah, that's back to people are afraid to ask for what they want in a relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
Judged, not being worthy. There's another reason too. There's three top reasons. I can only think of these two right now. Yeah.
Judged,
So
worthy, and I,
judged,
I want to go to,
liked. Maybe it's liked. I don't know.
approved of. Yeah, yeah.
But here's the thing. I only want to do this life thing if I can be connected. So every day, whether I go to a coffee shop, a grocery store, or I see a good friend, I want to be mindful and connected.
Yeah,
I want it to,
I've been observing that about you, like, where you're living, and you go to this coffee house on a regular basis and stuff, and I'm not in the habit of doing that. Um, and I think that for me, part of my healing journey has been like, I need to get alone in my own energy so that I can observe the negative talk that is sabotaging me, and I have nobody there to blame. Because when I'm not by myself and my pain comes up, it's easy for me to think it's because of the other person, you know? And so it's kind of
cutting,
like,
keep cutting out a little
yeah,
bit. So I'm trying to make
okay,
the most of it over there in
okay.
Mexico.
I don't know what to do about it, but other than maybe slow down, maybe. Thank you. Um, my guidance, my guidance has been to um, spend a lot of time in my own energy in order to identify my own negative self-talk, so that I can nip it in the bud, so I can intercept it, and I can examine it, and I can dismantle it, and I can dissolve it, and I can consider what I want to replace it with. And there's a lot of work there, because, like, I just said the other day, I I realize, and this is not like victimy stuff, but as I peel away the layers, I realize that I have been actually a lot more wounded than I knew, like when I was in my 20s. Like, it's taking me till now to be able to see what's my part in the dynamics between me and others that I'm responsible for. It's not them, it's me, it's my wounds, right? And I can't discover my wounds if I'm overly engaged, because then I just want to keep blaming other people. Does that make sense?
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
yeah.
course. I can we all need to spend time by ourselves, lots of
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
figuring it out,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
going out and trying it out.
Exactly, exactly. Which is why, like, when I ran the community, however many years ago it is now, up in the hills of Escondido, and I was, sort of celebrating a particular lifestyle that I have come to conclude on the other side is not really sustainable. And at the time, I was, kind of like a poster child, and 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 because I know about myself that I am charismatic and I'm articulate and I'm influential, it's like I started to feel like I was dangerous, like because I really believed what I was saying and people were following me. And now I feel like, just hold on a second. You got to be really mindful about what you are leading people to and make sure that it is healthy. I mean, we're all innocent and we're all on this journey together. And it's like when you have a calling to be out in the public and to be a leader and to show up, you have a responsibility to be in integrity and make sure that you are not misleading people, you know?
Yes, whether you're a leader of a workshop or out there at any event. So bring it down to life in general. Us being
Yes.
integrity, us telling our truth, us checking in with ourselves, making sure, wait a minute, is that really my truth? Saying how you feel, working it
Mm-hmm.
out, being
Mm-hmm.
patient, courageous,
Mm-hmm.
not just an event leader, but as all of us.
Yeah, just as people. And
As,
that's why
as
slowing down. Go ahead. Go ahead.
because we're all energy, right? We've got this web of energy from me to you to everyone here to in the world, this grid. And how are we going to vibe? How are we going to vibe? And who's going to feel it? And don't think for a minute that people aren't going to feel it. So how are we going to be in integrity, in truth,
Right.
and magic? You know?
Yeah. 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 So it feels like that self-love piece is like even if we haven't been in the habit of loving ourselves, and now we're at a critical point where the self-loathing or the self-neglect or the overlooking of the self is so great that we're not only doing harm to ourselves, but we're doing harm to others by how we have neglected ourselves. And so it's like the commitment to slowing down, to pay attention to what those wounds are saying. What are they trying to tell us? And how do we nurture them and give them compassion and listen and give them what they need in order to heal? Because we can't serve anybody if we're in pain. You and it's like we're the walking wounded, and on this planet we're the walking wounded. And I think that PTSD is at an all-time high right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't hear people talking about the side effects of the pandemic, um, or the side effects. Yeah, just leave it there to start. Just there alone.
That's where it started, and it's been de-escalating ever since the
How people
circumstances.
aren't, sorry,
What?
people
Go
aren't,
ahead.
people in general, I don't hear people talking about it.
Maybe that's because we have to.
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I mean? It's like it's for us to bring what we notice is missing. That's what it is. It's like if people aren't saying anything about it, it's because they're either too embarrassed, self-conscious, uncomfortable, or disconnected. It's like people are so used to walking around in pain, they think it's normal. World War
Yeah.
III, Stu is saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like the level of trauma.
I think I missed a couple of your words, but I heard you say something about the level of trauma.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting there with that because it's like just to name it, and the way that you were describing earlier about just sitting with somebody and looking into their eyes. It's like it's like just to name trauma and sit with it with honoring compassion because it's huge. The global trauma is colossal. It's so enormous.
Mm-hmm. It is.
So
So,
how do we be with that and have enough compassion to hold a big enough space for that monstrous energetic hairball to move, to become unstuck, to be able to redirect it and transmute it so it's not between. It's like people are imploding and exploding, and they're projecting out onto the field, onto one another. It's so volatile, and we can't fight fire with fire. It's not going to work.
no. So that's when, like you, I stay home. I don't go out. I don't go in a group. I don't play in that energy. I bring peace to myself at home, whatever
Right,
that takes.
right.
Dance, yoga, friends, coach, support, workout, nature,
Pet the
music,
cat.
the animals, right?
The
Nature.
animals, totally the animals. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Clients, right? What can I learn from a client? You know,
Mhm, mhm,
giving,
mhm,
take, whoever's sharing. People are
mhm,
coming and so it takes steps. It takes steps with us talking, getting support, telling our truth, telling our truth, how to even like sit with someone and figure out what's even in there.
yeah. It just feels like a lot of honoring patience and presence.
Supporting supporting people and finding their voice.
Yeah, stillness and silence and like holding that space, like whatever you have to say is so important that I'm just going to sit here and create a container for you and um, not judge you, whatever it is. I'm not going to judge you. I'm just going to have compassion for you. Walking around feeling all this for however long, and how painful that is, and how tragic that is, and just have compassion, because people need to be heard and they need to be felt
And they need to be touched.
and they need to be touched.
Yeah, for sure. So during the pandemic, how many people weren't touched, right?
Hmm. Hmm. And the people that have such a deficit are so far away from even allowing that touch to come in. You know, it's like, so then it's like, how do you even approach somebody with that tenderness? Thank you, Stu. With that tenderness when um, they've got their defenses so up that it's like, don't touch me, don't come near me, don't, you know. When I say that, I remember this story that my mother told about this little dog that she had before I was born. And my brother was just a little boy. And so, you know, he was just being mischievous, and he took twine and he tied the dog's front paws together. And the more it tried to get out of it, the more it was bleeding, because it was like pulling against the tightness of the twine. And so, yes, Stewie, Prince Bubbles. And so my mother came to the dog with a pair of scissors, and he was just like backing away from her, you know. So to try to help him, to try to free him, she had to overcome his mistrust in order to liberate him, you know. And that's just like a teeny tiny microcosmic example. And humans are so hurt and so wounded that they reject love, and they reject tenderness, and they reject compassion, you know. And we still have to be compassionate anyway, even though the backlash can actually be violent to us.
That's true. And what's the flip side? What's our choice? How are we going to live? How are we going to be an example? How are we going to vibrate? How are we going to support others?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
we
what
have to.
I do that. I work on myself, and then I support others in this, because what we're talking about is super heavy. And what are we going to do about it? Maybe it's nothing on a big scale, but it starts here. So how are you going to wake up in the morning? What are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do right now for yourself? Get some friends. Call me.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, the question that I ask myself, go where?
Go to workshops, get educated, learn how to do it, learn how to peel the onion, to let go, to find freedom in our bodies, to find our truth, to be able to express ourselves.
Yes. And
because
we also
because it feels super, super good, and other people see it, and then we start living like that. Then we become more patient. Then we can listen. Then we can be more compassionate, because we've taken care of ourselves to start.
yes,
It
yeah,
doesn't mean we still don't have stuff, but it starts with us.
right. And I feel like, as I'm listening to you, I feel like I have to acknowledge that we have to be patient with the process, that it's a practice. Like, we can't be attached to a result. You know, we can, it's like micro steps. It's like if we move in a direction, and we create a little opening, and we create a little relief, it feels amazing. It feels amazing when that happens. And we can't be attached to fully fixing somebody, to fully liberating them right before our eyes, that we just see them come out of their pain. I mean, it happens sometimes, and it's fabulous when it does. And we have to keep our egos in check, knowing that it's like microsurgery, and what we're stepping into is so tender and so raw, and is kind of booby trapped. You know, it's kind of booby trapped. So it's like one false move, one overly aggressive hug or whatever, and we can lose somebody just because they're not ready.
not
That's
ready.
true. That's true. But still, we do make mistakes. But I'm still going to come from love. I'm
Of
still going to
course.
still going to go up to someone and read them and see if it's okay to give them that hug. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still that because
Of
that's
course. Of
how
course.
I have to be connected. That's how
Yeah.
I've got it. Yeah.
Right. And to me, that's the ultimate question that I'm constantly checking in with myself on a daily basis. Like, who am I being? Who, who am I being in the face of this energy that is in front of me in the form of somebody else, whether it's somebody I know really well or somebody I barely know at all. And it's like I'm magnetizing this energy to me. So I need to have compassion for both of us and and like slow the whole thing down so I can really see and feel what's going on. You know, what's going on here? Is there anything here that I can do anything about right now? Or is the best thing that I can do just to like bless them and say, I'm not feeling like I'm serving you right now, and I need to take some space to regroup myself, you know? It's really, it's really tender, tricky stuff. And, and like you say, what's the alternative? We have no alternative because um, we're we're either on the side of the light or we're not. You know, we're either choosing that or we're not.
Yeah. It's like we're a parent, right? How are we going to be for the people in our lives in the world, right?
Mhm.
As a
Mhm.
parent myself, so
Mhm.
that children can see how I'm modeling so they can feel it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm. 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 So were you always this calm and peaceful, or did you cultivate it?
Say that again.
Were you always this calm and peaceful, or did you cultivate it?
I think the question more is, well, maybe. I mean, okay, hold on. I'm thinking, have I always been happy? But of course not. You know, I'm unhappy and happy at different times. Did I cultivate being peaceful? Yes. I stepped out of uh, the corporate matrix. I stepped out of using my masculine energy and having to be the boss of everyone and follow all the rules. And now I get to use my feminine, my wise, strong feminine of intuition. And everything that I do, I feel it in my body. I can see on other people. I can see who they are. I listen to what they say and they don't say. Um, I choose not to, if I'm going in a big group of people, I only do it for a certain amount of time because I have to come back and get energized. I have to have quiet. You can see on my face right now the sun setting on the ocean right now. Um,
Nice.
where I live right now is a few blocks from the beach. It's just all about choice and how am I going to make it happen and what's most important. I may only
Mhm. Mhm.
be able for a year, but that's okay. I'm treating myself to it.
Mhm.
Um, yes, I've cultivated it. I choose who I want to be around. I choose what I want to do in business. I choose my clients. It doesn't mean it's perfect all the time because it certainly isn't, but I'm making a difference in the world, and that's super important to me. I'm showing up in relationships. I'm learning how to be in a partnership, in a monogamous relationship with a man, and I feel like this is the best time I've ever done it in my whole life. At my age,
Congratulations.
I'm like I finally feel like I'm getting it.
That's so good.
I'm not in a hurry with my relationships, with my friendships. I mean, what I mean is I'm way more patient. I know what I say when I'm I'm sitting in front of you, but I don't know what you're going to say. And you're so wise, I want to hear it. So I'm not thinking about what I'm going to say next, you know?
Right.
But I think mostly I really try to live by integrity. Um, I I always want to be in my integrity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Well, I would suggest that that is an outgrowth of the self-love. It's like self-love, self-respect, dignity, discernment for here. And once we do that, we have so much more patience to hold it for other people. You know, it's like I have me, my needs, my sensitivities. By slowing down, I can get in touch with them, identify them, understand what they are, and surrender to them, because it's not about like beating ourselves to become something different than what we are. It's surrendering to who we innately are.
Yes. And I want to laugh a lot. I laugh a lot, right? I know there's so much going on in the world, but how am I going to vibe it out, as I say today? I'm going to laugh my ass off here and now and have a good time. And I don't mean that in a, it's not disregarding any of the pain that's going on in the world.
Stu says no, no laughing.
No, of course not. But while I'm here, I want to come from love. I want to have integrity. I come, I want to connect. And I want to laugh a lot and not have a lot of drama going on. I've
Yeah,
done
yeah,
that. And I feel like finally I'm here.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
here. And I see,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
I,
that's a thing, that's a thing for me too, because like to have been born into the circumstances that I was born into, to be so aware of such horror at such an early state in my life, and to have these dreams and aspirations of creating world peace in my mother's lifetime, and to not only not succeed in that, but have the world seem, like as Stu said, on the verge of World War III, is it's unacceptable to me. You know, it's like I don't believe that I came here to suffer and worry start to finish. That just doesn't seem like the best use of a life. It's like these are our precious lives, and we get to choose the lens that we look through. The lens that we look through, and how we are going to interpret and how we're going to process everything that is going on. And all I can do is come to this place of, there but by the grace of God go I, and be grateful that I am free, that I am healthy, and I am safe. And consequently, I feel so blessed and so privileged that I feel like it's a responsibility to be as happy as I possibly can with my freedom for as long as I have it. And I wanted to say to you, when you said, I choose that you choose to be happy. It's like, oh no, because of where you're living, that you're giving that to yourself, even if it's for a year. And I was going to say, I think the way it works is that much begets more. So the more we demonstrate that self-love, the more the universe contributes to us beyond and beyond and beyond. It's like we can feed either cup. It's like when you're talking about the gremlin on your shoulder, it reminded me of that Native American story about we have two wolves, you know, And which one wins? It's whichever one that we feed. It's whichever one that we feed. So it's like living at a level of consciousness where we take 100% responsibility for our experience. And if we're not liking the way that we're feeling in our bodies and in our psyches, we have to be asking the questions, what's going to make me feel better?
We do. Whether you're afraid or not, you have to start taking steps.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you're right, I could live here longer. And I notice that the more I take care of myself, the easier things flow to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Especially lately. It seems to be faster, quicker. Have you noticed that?
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. It's been
As a
magic.
vessel, as a vessel, are we going to be angry all the time and spew out at people, and that goes out in the world and that creates more hatred? Or are we going to take care of ourselves and love ourselves? And
Exactly.
how are we going to do it? Super important,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. 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 I appreciate you.
Thank you.
So, do you have anything you would like to tell our listeners as it relates to if they would like to reach out to you and work with you, how they can do that? Anything you want to put in the thread for people to connect with you?
I hate to cook, so if you want to come over and make me dinner, that's good. No, I'm kidding. Um, I have I do have a workshop coming up in December for couples about rekindling your relationship and putting the spark back into it. Um, that's in December. I have the pleasure of co-hosting a workshop with Ashley Faith in the beginning of the year. It's going to be some spiritual mental, emotional, physical sex ed for women in partnership, which would be really fun.
Nice.
And the Self Love Club with Juliana is on Facebook. If you would like to connect with me, that's a great way to do so.
Cool. So good. Stu is offering to make you dinner.
Thank you, Stu. Is he vegan? Vegan.
Is he? He's less committed to it than I am.
Stu. Ted, I'm great for you.
You froze.
Seeing you here every Tuesday, you are showing me the way, and you've taken my hand even before today, and you're being an example. And so if it wasn't for you doing this, I don't know if I'd be planning those workshops that I was talking about.
Wow, that feels nice. I'm so happy. That's beautiful.
And then,
Yeah.
and I'm a coach, an intimacy relationship coach. And if you break the word down, intimacy, it's into me, I see. So what kind of relationship are you having with yourself and with,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
to see who you all are.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Tess.
I see you.
I love you.
Thanks for being here. I hope you come back.
Thank
And if you have
you.
anything you want to pop into the thread, like a link to the Self-Love Club or something, you can grab it and do that. And
Right, beauty. Have a great time in Mexico, okay?
thank you. I already am, actually. It started off really great. Yeah.
Bye, love.
Take care, honey. Wowza! Wowza! Stu, you've made so many comments and I couldn't catch all of them. I'm a fake, I'm a fraud, I'm a charlatan. It reminds me of that song. 'Cause I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo. What am I doing here? So you said sing something. I guess what is on my heart to sing is my prayer hymn that you, Stu, suggested I write after 9/11. And as I shared at the Vision Center for Spiritual Living, where I sang this last Sunday, I can always tell when something is coming directly from source or from the mother, because it comes out whole in 20 minutes, as opposed to some songs can take years to kind of come together. And you know, it's a bittersweet thing for me to have this song be so relevant in terms of what's happening on the world stage right now, but it is impactful. So, and it is a prayer. So. Irrational hatred, conditioned from birth, nations divided by lines drawn in earth, civilization, how far have we come? Time now to notice, in truth we are one. Unnatural borders, illusions of mind, children of mothers, your killing is blind. Ancient agendas, what price do we pay? Suicide bombings, dreams bleeding away. Let there be peace in the Middle East. Let harmony span all across the lands. Never before have we won with war. The only relief lies in being the peace. From New York to Baghdad, Tibet to Peru, the nations of Islam, Jerusalem too. The world is your country, a people your tribe, a rainbow-faced family. Together we thrive. Let there be peace in the Middle East. Let harmony span all across the lands. Never before have we won with war. The only relief lies in being the peace. An eye for an eye never evens the score. Two wrongs don't make right, just excuses for more. We each get to choose how we live till we die. The first to call truce takes the road that is high. Let there be peace in the Middle East. Let harmony span all across the lands. Never before have we won with war. The only relief lies in being the peace in the Middle East. Let harmony span all across the lands. Never before have we won with Let's all start being the peace. Come on and live now in peace. Let's all start being the peace. Who am I being? What choice and what control do I have in this world? The only choice and the only control I actually have is mastery over my countenance. We can tell by the way we feel in our bodies, our hearts, in our psyches, what our dominant focus of attention is. And if we notice the thoughts that we're thinking are not causing us to become more peaceful, more centered, more trusting, more grounded and solid in the knowing that we come from a benevolent source that wants us to align with it, that wants us to know it, wants us to trust it, wants us to surrender to it. We are all in a relationship with whatever word you want to call it, the God of our unique individual understanding. And we get to choose whether that force is a force of good or a force of evil. And we get to choose whether that force is for us or against us. And spiritual logic would dictate, at least to me, that it only serves us to determine that this force is a force of good and for us. Because we're making it all up. This is a self-fulfilling biofeedback loop. And whatever we put out comes back projected and magnified to us. So if we don't understand why things are happening to us and why we get to feel the way we get to feel, we need to do a deep dive of introspection inside ourselves and ferret out where all the pain is, where all the anger is, where all the blame is, where all the bitterness is, where all the resentment is, where all the jealousy is, where all the victim mentality is, and reel it all back in, reel ourselves in, and go, spiritual reality check. I am a walking, talking, living, breathing miracle sitting in the center of a giant miracle that surrounds me 360 degrees. So why am I angry? Why am I resentful? I am poisoning myself. And then that poison comes back to me in the form of people mistreating me. I'm a walking, talking, living, breathing miracle. Welcome, Amacha Barbara May. Nice to have you here. So I don't know if you've been here before or not. This is a community enrichment project. This is my 13th week of doing this. It's called Voices of the Global Awakening, Tuesdays with Tess, broadcasting from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. And it is a very interactive platform. Most weeks I choose a theme, and sometimes I don't, and just go with whatever may be alive in the moment. And sometimes I have guests that are pre-planned, and more often than not, I have viewers who are magnetized into the field, who have a voice and wisdom and a perspective and a point of view. And I don't wish to put anyone on the spot. However, you are more than welcome if you feel called to come live and chat with me. I would love to connect with you and get your spontaneous thoughts and feelings as it relates to this week's topic, which is self-love and world peace, because I feel a very deep correlation between those two concepts on the micro and macro level. And I do believe that from an archetypal place, that whatever we heal within our own world that we are living in, we impact the world that we're seeing out there. So Ashley Faith is with us here too. How wonderful. Ashley, I don't know if you heard the last thing I said, but this is an interactive platform, and if you feel guided to come on and chat with me, just indicate it, whether you're able to send the request or whether you just want to type it in the chat that you want to do that. We are speaking on self-love and world peace and the connection between the two. So, as we said earlier, we're seeing all these things happening in the world that are so painful and so horrifying. Juliana, and I mentioned her as co-host with me, and here she is. You drew her. You drew her here. Thanks for the time check, Stu. We're doing good. We're doing good. So anyway, so we're noticing, certainly since the attack in Israel, the Gaza Strip, October 7th, that the state of the world seems to be at an all-time level of despair and trauma. And it's like we thought we'd seen it during the pandemic, and now it seems to be magnified to a whole other level. And what are we doing? And what can we do? Because from where we're sitting as unique individuals, we feel so helpless and so disempowered. And yet, each and every one of us is a creator. And we can be creating by default, or we can be creating deliberately. So what are we choosing to do with this play, this cutthroat play that is acting out before us, which is an outpicturing of our own unhealed stuff? It's not like there's really an us and a them. This is a magnification of, like they say, love drives up everything unlike itself for healing. And as the spiritual teacher that I've been following for a few years now, Panache Desai, says, he said, we've been promised, it's been prophesized that we will be coming into a golden age of 1,000 years of peace. And he said, how do you think that is going to come about if it isn't for some sort of eruption that is threatening to annihilate our species? So we can either get caught up in it, in which case we are feeding the fear, we are feeding the sense of disempowerment, or we can be like Buckingham Palace guards and we can be holding our position of bearing the light, being an embodiment of the light, and deciding that no matter what we see, the light prevails. And that is our choice. And that is our opportunity to learn beyond anything that we have ever sought to manifest before. That we can be deliberate creators by attuning our personal energy, our personal frequency to such a level of faith and gratitude for the miracle of getting to exist, of getting to be here now. There's a reason that we are living on the planet, bearing witness to all of this right here, right now. And we are the ones that we've been waiting for. So, who am I going to be? Who are you going to be in the face of this darkness? Are we going to let the darkness overtake us and extinguish our light? Or are we going to be like that single match in a pitch black stadium that as soon as that little match is illuminated, the darkness dissipates? And one flame lights another and another and another and another, and we help ourselves and we help each other to remember that we are the light and the light prevails. You know, I shared before that one of my favorite Abraham Hicks quotes is, "Stop telling God how big your problems are. Instead, tell your problems how big your God is." And you can call it anything you want. I'm speaking of that miraculous life force that caused everything in existence to be, that animates us and all that is. So we need to sing, and we need to dance, and we need to make it to love, and we need to celebrate. Ashley, you have a question. Do you want to type it, or would you like to come on here and show your face and have a dialogue with me? Do, 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 do. You had a question, but I asked you one first. Ashley has a question. What's the question, beloved? Let me see. I'm gonna invite you, and you can choose to come on or not. Okay, I say come on because it's sexier. I haven't seen your face since April. Yay!
Is it working?
It's working. Hi.
Hi. Beautiful. I've been with you in this great dire place. And um, one of the things that's like I have to ask myself, how can we have worlds when there are all of these patriarchal mythological religions that believe that they are God's chosen people. All of them believe this. I feel like at some point in the world, uh, and some point of the massacre and of life, is there this opportunity for people to just step away at all and just be humans, dissolve it all and just be humans? Like, I was actually encouraged by the day of Hamas, Friday the 13th, that there wasn't a bunch of bullshit. It told me that people don't want to be a part of that. They're thinking for themselves more. They've integrated into a different reality. But I would love to hear your thoughts on
Well, what comes to mind when you ask that question, which is a powerful question, is the Albert Einstein quote, which is that we cannot solve a problem at the level that it was created. We have to move to a higher perspective. And what it's going to take for us to get there feels like an act of God, feels like a miracle. And again, I go back to Abraham Hicks, who would say that contrast gives birth to desire. So when the no, the what we don't want, gets so loud, it elicits a response of no, not that, that. Like we can't even name the thing we want before the pendulum has swung so far to the not that there's this backlash into consciousness, this backlash. And one thing that I have said for a very long time is that the evolution of consciousness is irrepressible. So even though there could be factions that wish to slow it down, that wish to stop it, it's impossible. It's impossible. And what we're feeling right now seems to me in my feeling body like we're coming to such a state of the no, this cannot continue like this, that there's going to be some sort of a world eruption that is just going to wash this planet with so much love and so much light that it's kind of like the biblical quotes about, turning the swords to plow shields and all this kind of stuff. It's almost like maybe in the blink of an eye, like some magical, mystical response to, like, we can't even take this level of darkness anymore. It's nearly impossible to function as, I don't know if you were on here, but and we're both cutting in and out, so I'm missing some of your words too. So if you said this, I don't know. That now I forgot what I was going to say. I totally lost it. I'm sorry. We'll come back to it.
it. Thank you. I
Is that
feel
helpful?
like
Did it touch on any sort of?
I feel like we're close to getting to that tipping point. I think
Oh,
there's
I know what it is.
a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of destruction happening now, but I feel like we're close, and I feel like we, like if you've ever read any of these ancient texts, you like there's so much violence in the name of love slash God slash whatever you want to call it, right? There's so much violence. People have to start like really looking. It cannot, like, they don't even, like, for example, the Bible has been watered down to the point of all of the offensive stuff has been watered down. The King James version is just violence, war, genocide, slaughter, like racism, sexism, like all in the name of
Right.
love, you know, and so like I think all of the patriarchal religions are. I've studied all of the ancient texts. There's just garbage in all of it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
like as a person that has brought life into this world, this is anti-life,
Yes.
anti-love,
Yes.
and I just can't really. I'm done with it. I'm done. Like I'm just feeling like this really needs to be talked about, and you're talking about it for my
Yeah, I came back to what it was that I was saying before, was that it's like between the pandemic and what's happening now, and it's been escalating and leading to this, is like the level of PTSD that I would say 98, 99% of the people on the planet are walking around with
hero.
is, it's just impossible. It's impossible. And so something has to break, something has to give, and we can't afford to throw in the towel if we want to survive as a species. We have to hold the light, even though it's painful, even though it's uncomfortable, even though we have our own moments of doubt. So it's kind of like the story about the birds in formation. It's like if we're standing there and we're holding the light and we're sort of becoming filled with despair because we're seeing it's like a drop in the bucket compared to how much darkness that we're dealing with, and so we get burnt out. It's like we need to, you know, just like go to the back of the formation and let somebody else step forward so that we can regain ourselves, but we can't give up. We just can't give up. We
Yeah.
can't afford it.
No, no, I don't think
Yeah.
it's gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's kind of like I mean, it really helps me to, as a play, you know, is like uh, you know, source intelligence in its you know, amorphous eternalness gets bored of perfection and decides to amuse itself by creating these dramas on the world stage. And like Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. And because um, everybody is an offspring of the divine, we all come from source. Even the people that are playing the bad guys come from source and return to source. And so, like from a biblical standpoint, it's been said that Lucifer is like one of God's favorite angels, you know, because loves God so much. I'm willing to play the darkness. I'm willing to portray that for the sake of the play, right? And the challenge here is that, and I have this as my background, so it's easy for me to draw from it, is that like a healthy actor, metaphorically speaking, is aware that they're playing a part. Where an actor goes into psychosis is if they get so over identified with their character, they forget that it's a role, and then they start, isolating, and they start taking it out on their families and taking it out on their friends, and they go off the deep end. And it's kind of like we as souls who chose to come into these juicy roles and say, oh, okay, I'll play that character in this incarnation, and we have forgotten that we're playing roles.
Mm.
And so we over identify with these characters and we suffer instead of coming from the actor's perspective, because the juiciest roles to play are the ones that have the greatest challenge. Like nobody, like in Hollywood or on Broadway, wants the boring vanilla role. Everybody wants the role that they can sink their teeth into, right? So we took this on knowing that we are these divine imperishable souls, and the play's the thing. And so for the sake of the play, we're gonna immerse ourselves in these imaginary circumstances, and we're gonna have these idiosyncrasies and these personalities and these situations and all these stuff. But we're all on a hero's journey. We all want to emerge into the light. Every single one of us wants that. Whether we succeed in doing it or whether we give up on ourselves, you know, but then we return to pure positive energy, and then we're back in the green room where the actors go when they're not on stage, and then they just start like talking like normal people. They're not in the battle, anymore. And it's kind of like if we can look through that lens, then we can give ourselves a little buffer where we can breathe and we can marvel at the portrayal of the darkness rather than being devastated by it. So it's like if you're watching Anthony Hopkins playing Hannibal Lecter, you're like, oh my God, what an amazing role, what an amazing performance that is. He's so believable as this evil character, right? And so these people that are playing that right now are so believable as these evil characters, and yet, like the Course in Miracles says, have you ever studied the Course in Miracles? Only the good is real. Only the good is real. Anything that we're seeing that's not of the good is just an illusion and never even really happened.
Mhm.
I mean, it's kind of challenging because we're so indoctrinated into all this and we are in pain and we judge it. And so it's kind of like if we step back into the role of witness, neutral witness, like we're sent here as representatives of the divine to witness the divine play and marvel at it without judgment, without putting good, bad on it, then what we can actually have our attention on is, oh my God, I have eyes. Oh my God, I have ears. How awesome is that? I get to see. I get to hear. And it becomes less important what I'm seeing and hearing than the fact that I get to see and hear. You see, these like little ways that we can step back a little bit, and it doesn't have to hurt us quite so much because we're in a mystery. I mean, the genre of play, of theater, of movie that we're in is a mystery, and there is so much that we will never understand. So we either believe there is this benevolent source or we don't, and if there isn't, we're screwed. So it serves, I think, it serves us to believe there is a benevolent intelligence, there is a divine plan, and we just keep surrendering to it, and we keep accepting. It's like I need to bless. You know, I went to Burning Man, and I remember the moment that my view shifted because it was like the most sacred and the most profane seeming were coexisting side by side. And that was amazing. But the next level was realizing that it's all sacred. It's all the divine acting out like this and acting out like that. And it's kind of hard because we're programmed to good and bad. But even the most evil, despicable thing that we look at is still coming from the same source. And it's being allowed by that source. So can we find that place, like Juliana and I were talking about, like how hurt people, those weren't the words that we use, but hurt people. And even though we're scared of those hurt people because we don't want them to hurt us, if we can find that compassion for them and the love underneath, because nothing happens in a vacuum. Like, as horrible as those attacks were, it didn't come out of nowhere. It came from somewhere. A level of
Yeah.
hurt that we can't even understand. A level of rage that we can't even understand. So if we're coming from love or we're coming from fear, and compassion would come under the category of love, it's like, okay, I just need to stay in my compassionate heart and forgive everybody and everything for all that I don't understand, including God.
Well, I mean, fear is ignorant. Fear is
You're breaking up. Maybe talk slower. Yeah.
fear is ignorant.
Fear is what?
Ignorant.
Ignorant. Yeah.
And ignorance is what's happening.
is dangerous. And it's really painful.
Yes.
It's really painful. So the best we can do is hold space for the pain with compassion and without adding our own anger to it.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. Intense topic, huh? This is very intense. And powerful. And sacred. Teaching nonviolence. Right, and not just as a cerebral concept, but a heartfelt, bodily felt intention and consciousness. Welcome, Greg Solomon May. Nice to see you here. You are welcome to come on and chat if you feel it. While you think about that, I'm going to offer you a song to live that way, in that awareness, that every moment that we are at choice about who we're being, what are we going to bring. Dispeller of the darkness, bringer of the light, I pray to you to show me how to make things right. You gave me an assignment, I know not how to fulfill. I follow your voice blindly. Why do you whisper still? Awaiting your instructions, life seems harsh and bleak. I watch my world collapsing and turn the other cheek. Helplessly I call you, surrendering my fate. Forgive me if I tremble. It's been a long, long wait. If peace is the plan, come on and lend me a hand. Don't make me stand here alone like a fool. I've proven my stuff, Lord knows I've taken enough. It's time to send in the peace troops and the tools. Every door I come to slams upon my face. Your people are too busy to save the human race. You gave me an assignment, I know not how to fulfill. I follow your voice blindly. Why do you whisper still? if we're asking, how can we serve? How can we bring our love, our light, our compassion, our empathy, our healing knowing in the miraculousness of the gift of life, and how blessed each and every one of us are to get to be here, how privileged we each are. Even if we are not directly on the court, in the front lines of these battles of good versus evil, we can hold the space right from where we are. We can emit a frequency of faith-based peace, the peace that surpasseth all understanding. I love that expression because it suggests that the logical mind, the programmed mind, can't figure it out. How can you possibly be peaceful with all that this is going on in the world? I'm peaceful because I have my faith, and I'm choosing to trust that faith and rest in it. If life begets like, we send love continuously. I am, yes, 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 yes. I am a walking, talking, living, breathing miracle, as are each of you. I know this. I choose to embody this and emanate this knowing out into the field around me. I used to have a friend who would say, we change and the world changes around us. We need to have the courage to be the peace, to be the change that we want to see, and not get caught up in the old way. We need to literally pull ourselves out of the energetic fray that is designed to keep us unstable and uncomfortable and agitated. You know, the healing frequency of music is 432 hertz. And during World War II, they decided to standardize the frequency of music to be recorded at 440 hertz. And this was established by Goebbels, who was Hitler's right hand. And so all the patriotic songs and all the songs of the generation, and subsequently, until there have been people who have come forth offering intentionally music at 432 and 5 something and 6 and that are intended specifically for healing. But the majority of the music that we have grown accustomed to listening to was produced at a frequency intended to agitate and destabilize us. And we are vibrational beings. We are energetic beings. And so we have been impacted on such deep cellular levels. Thank you, Stu. Such deep cellular levels that it's like like we are wounded within our frequency, and most of us are functioning in that pace that never allows us to even feel the pain, because we've had to cultivate a layer of numbness over it, because otherwise we couldn't stand, we couldn't function. Welcome, Vanessa. So it's like the courage, and you did this, Juliana, you sprung yourself out of the matrix. The courage to step out of that hamster wheel. We have been manipulated. And I shared the story some years ago. My partner and I were living side by side to our landlady. It was a single-story duplex, and we had one wall dividing us, and she went out of town, and she asked me to take care of her cats for her. And I went into her place one day, and I'm watching this clock that she had on the wall, which had a sweeping second hand that was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth in a really like intense manic way. And on the face of this clock was a rendering of a rabbit running across a field. And the caption on it was, "Time waits for no one." And I'm standing there looking at this manic device going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I thought, wow, the creation of the clock and the calendar has put our species in a place of functioning at a pace that has nothing to do with the rate of our pulse, our heartbeat, our breath, in a restful, relaxed state. It's in a state of agitation. And this is the way that we have been controlled. Because if we're functioning at a state of agitation and we're in fear and insecurity, we can't feel our connection to Source. We can't feel our connection to the body of the mother holding us. We can't feel the infinite life force, prana energy that is ever present, filling us, animating us. We are destabilized, we are unsure, and we're stressed because we're trying to keep up with things, and we're feeling behind. So all these programs are running that keep us disconnected from our true divine majesty. And you get somebody like me coming along, occupying space for 2 hours in this TikTok generation where everything is, 10 seconds, people's attention span. You can't have people's attention. And I'm sitting here with you, and thank you for those of you who have been staying with me, and I'm willing to do it whether there's anybody here or not, and even drop into the silence and just allow presence to come forth, because we don't even need words. We need silence. We need presence to heal us and hold us and inform us and remind us of the truth of our divine connection. They say when 2 or more are gathered, holding a shared vision and a sacred intention, we are so much more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. We are at a critical point where we have to choose to be the change that we want to see. We have to choose it. If we love ourselves and we love the people we love, and we can see, this is spiritual logic, we can see with our own eyes the beauty and the sacredness facts of the natural world in which we exist, and we are a part of it. We're not these free radicals that are just dumped here. We're a part of this ecosystem. Then we have to choose to be a stand for the beauty and the majesty and the miraculousness that we are a part of, in the face of anything else that doesn't look like that. And instead of allowing it to intimidate us, we stare it down. If we are walking with the light, then we stare the darkness down. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. My rod and my staff comfort me. My mudras, my ability to touch matter to matter, the material plane, the mother. We are 100% supported and connected. The life force animating us, animating all that is. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here with me on this journey. Thanks for being my timekeeper, Stu. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Juliana. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for showing up, for sharing your voices, your consciousness, your wisdom, your questions. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We need to take the veil off, lift the covers, lift the social niceties and politeness and the anger, and just talk about the challenging stuff. Because it's all sacred. It's all part of our journey. We are the light and the light wins. 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 Fake it till you make it. Keep singing it till you believe it. Till you're walking, talking light. We are the heart. We are the hands. We are the voice of spirit on earth. And who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. You're a blessing. I'm a blessing. We're a blessing to the world. I love you. I appreciate you. I value you. I honor you. I respect you. I feel you. I see you. I receive you. You are another myself. Even the yous that are out there, you are a blessing to the world, Stu Schreiber. Even the yous out there that are acting out in ways that scare the heck out of me, you are another myself, and you are a hurt part that needs love and integration. And that is how we are going to transmute all this and get through it. So again, I thank you for being here. I wish you a namaste, and God, Goddess willing, I will see you back here, same bad time, same bad channel, next Tuesday from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time for episode 14 of Voices of the Global Awakening, Tuesdays with Tess. Infinite blessings.